On this Wednesday night, CBC News is on the ground in Syria in one of the last remaining ISIS strongholds. Margaret Evans has the story from the front lines, where bombed-out neighborhoods tell the story of 7 years of war. And we reach a woman in a pocket of resistance still fighting against the odds.
Also tonight, how bailing on the Iran deal could lead to job losses within the United States.
And the video of a racist encounter in public has swift repercussions. One woman's tirade in a Lethbridge diner was posted online. Now she's dealing with the consequences. This is The National.
Syria is now a fractured, blood-soaked version of its former self. More than 7 years of civil war has seen to that. It is a story that has gripped Canadians and inspired many to action. Tonight, our Margaret Evans has rare access to the front lines, accompanied by Syrian officials. Our crew is inside the refugee camp of Yarmouk, just south of central Damascus. It's once home to tens of thousands. Now it is a warren of crumbling buildings. And this is one of the last pockets of ISIS fighters near the capital. Syrian government forces have them surrounded, trapped in an ever-shrinking area under a near-constant siege.
It still takes you by surprise, even in the pitted landscape that is Yarmouk. The arrival of a tank on the edge of the battlefield, a group of soldiers pulling out an injured comrade. These are Syrian government soldiers fighting Bashar al-Assad's battle against the last remaining rebel enclave in Damascus. They control 75% of the Yarmouk area, they say. The rest is held by ISIS. Inside the hulking ruins of the camp, decimation is the only word that fits. At the start of the war in 2011, the mainly Palestinian neighborhood was home to around 160,000 people. Now it's inhabited by a nest of fighters and the occasional dog, looking as scarred as his surroundings. Some of the Syrian soldiers are taking us to have a look at the front line. They move in tunnels blasted out of the walls and hidden behind blinds to avoid snipers. When you see it, it feels as close as two teeth. A young soldier named Amin Salah tells us he's not worried about reports of Israeli shelling in Syria these past few days. No, he says, we're ready for anything. He's 25 years old and he's been in the army for 7 years. The flags that fly here are Palestinian. Different factions split into pro- or anti-Syrian regime camps when the war started. ISIS appeared on the scene in 2014, giving itself a base just 8 kilometers from Damascus city center and still making use of it today, firing missiles downtown and killing 4 people. Karam Daoud was in the same forward unit as the Syrian soldier carried away in an ambulance earlier. He tells us his friend, named Ahmed, was shot by a sniper as their unit tried to force their way into a building occupied by ISIS fighters. Despite the howl of warplanes overhead, the battle here is on the ground, building by building. Syria's pattern has been to use brutal starve and siege tactics to force rebel enclaves to surrender. None of these soldiers expect ISIS to do that. If Bashar al-Assad's forces do remove them from Yarmouk as expected, the Syrian president will have established full control over Damascus and its suburbs for the first time since the war began. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Damascus.
The war in Syria has left the country fractured. It really hasn't been unified for a very long time. Come have a look at this. From above, you can see who's in control and where. Right here, that's the last major ISIS stronghold. It's a whisper where it once roared. The Kurdish forces continue to hold much of the north, but the largest area is obviously held by the Syrian army and the forces loyal to Assad. But take a look at this area. This is Idlib province. It's the last major pocket of rebellion. Most of the opposition forces have been corralled here. Assad has his eyes on this spot. And that, Idlib, is where we connected with a teacher who tells us what it's like to try to keep the fight alive.
هلا لما كنت بالغوطة كان دائما انه يجيني سؤال انه شو حيصير فينا.
Bayan Rayhan has always been asked questions. She used to be a volunteer teaching children, but now her students are Syria's women who are waiting to be empowered.
ايش معهم بهذا انه توعية النساء على ايش معنى السياسة فاعلة وليست امرأة عاملة. تمام، نحن بحاجة نساء تكون فعلا لدورها، تكون هي قيادية قدرانة like بناظير بوتو, like Jeanne d'Arc. We don't have Merkel, okay? We don't have Merkel in Syria.
But given this and the fear of being persecuted for speaking out, you have to wonder why someone chooses to do what Rayhan does.
أنا بعتبر إنه الوطن ليس عبارة عن فندق تغادره متى ساءت الخدمة. إنه أنا كنت من أول حدا شارك بالثورة السورية كنساء كمظاهرات كتنسيق، فكانوا يقولوا لي وقت إنه نشوفك بالبلد إنه نعرف إنه لا لسه في ثورة.
Rayhan feels safe enough to talk freely from Idlib. It's not so easy elsewhere, with some Syrians too afraid to really speak their minds. She says you have to look for answers in more than just their words.
ما تحاول إنه ما تاخذ الأمور بظاهرها، لأن سوريا تحتاج إلى عمق لتفهم كل شيء صاير فيها. تاخذي شهادتك من الحيطان ومن الأرض ومن عيون الناس، وحتى إنه تدقق على أجساد الناس.
Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. An angry encounter at an Alberta restaurant caught on tape. It spread like wildfire online. Now the woman who hurled racist slurs is speaking out.
Residents on Hawaii's Big Island have weathered earthquakes and molten lava. But now they have a new threat, volcanic explosions.
But first, a victory, both real and powerfully symbolic for Donald Trump, as 3 American prisoners are freed from North Korea and back on American soil. Tonight, the 3 are crediting Trump himself and his administration for putting an end to their ordeal. And as Keith Bogue reports, it paves the way for that planned meeting between the president and North Korea's leader.
You deserve the Nobel Prize, do you think? Does Donald Trump deserve a Nobel Prize?
Everyone thinks so, but I would never say it. You know what I want to do? I want to get it finished. The prize I want is victory for the world.
Trump's talk of raining fire and fury down on North Korea, as well as other wildly bellicose messages often delivered in a tweet, is being given some credit for Kim Jong-un's mood of late. Kim's been showing his softer side in advance of talks about denuclearization. The latest gesture is the release of these 3 Americans imprisoned in North Korea. He's also suspended nuclear tests, shut down a test site, and most dramatically thrust himself into relatively warm meetings with South Korea's President Moon in hopes of ending the frozen conflict between their 2 countries.
I appreciate Kim Jong-un doing this and allowing them to go.
Trump has suggested it's all a sign of big things to come from his meeting with Kim in a few weeks, when they talk about North Korea giving up its nuclear weapons. But some of those more experienced with North Korea are also more skeptical that things will turn out well.
It's going to be very difficult for North Korea to be willing to give up, and actually give up. They may agree to it, give up its nuclear weapons anytime soon over the short term. They put so much, literally, blood, sweat, and tears and treasure into developing this. It's going to be very hard for them, given all the mistrust.
The trust issue is likely front and center now that Trump has announced he's pulling out of the deal the U.S. negotiated with Iran over its nuclear weapons program. He might have showed he keeps his word on campaign promises, but he's also showed that no one can count on continuity in U.S. foreign policy.
How can the North Koreans actually trust Donald Trump to make a deal, figuring that he himself at some point, as he's shown in many other occasions, both domestically and internationally, that he's willing to pull out an agreement whenever it suits him?
All of this is happening quickly, Andrew, and things have changed a great deal and in ways that were not foreseen just a couple of months ago. Trump says he'll announce this week when and where the meeting will take place, and there are reports tonight that it will happen in Singapore.
Right. And Keith, you mentioned that one reason the meeting is happening at all might be that Trump's threats have brought Kim to the negotiating table. What other reasons might there be?
Well, probably the most important reason is that North Korea's nuclear program is now far more advanced than it has ever been. North Korea appears to be a genuine nuclear power, and there can be little doubt that in Kim's view, it's the nuclear weapons that brought Trump to the table, not Trump's threats that brought Kim to the table.
But, I mean, on the other hand, doesn't this newfound strength, in a way, sort of make it less likely Kim will want to give up his nuclear weapons?
Yeah, that's what many analysts say, and it brings us right back to the question of whether Kim can trust the U.S. in this type of negotiation when the U.S. has just taken a deal agreed to between Iran and all of the world's most powerful nations and apparently blown the whole thing up.
Keith Bogue in Washington, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, Keith mentioned that the island nation of Singapore is the likely location for Trump and Kim to meet. And if you're wondering why Singapore, well, we had the same question. But there may be good reasons to meet there. Observers say Singapore stands out because it's a neutral location. It's well known for its security and high degree of public order. And the city-state also has a strong track record of hosting high-level talks. For example, the historic 2015 meeting between Taiwan and China, following a 66-year standoff. Plus, it's helpful that both the U.S. and North Korea have diplomatic missions in Singapore. But zooming out a bit, there's never just one thing preoccupying the Donald Trump administration. Ian, there's also the U.S. withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal.
And it seems as if the fallout, Andrew, to yesterday's announcement is whipping up political and economic anxiety around the world. There was a display of fire and fury inside the Iranian parliament as lawmakers burned a paper American flag and shouted, "Death to America." The country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, also didn't mince his words, saying he hoped Trump's body would become food for snakes and ants. But in Washington, Trump remained defiant, again warning Tehran against relaunching its nuclear program.
If they do, there will be very severe consequence, okay?
Meanwhile, other signatories to the 2015 nuclear accord say they aren't giving up on the deal yet.
I urge the US to avoid taking any action that would hinder other parties from continuing to make the agreement work in the interests of our collective national security.
British Foreign Minister Boris Johnson and his French and German counterparts will meet Iranian officials next Monday for talks to salvage the deal. But the decision to exit the Iran nuclear deal could have an economic impact around the world. Business deals worth billions of dollars are at risk as the U.S. threatens to reimpose sanctions in Iran and anyone doing business with it. Jacqueline Hansen has more.
New Airbus jets were supposed to mark the beginning of a revival of Iran Air's aging fleet and be among the first major foreign business deals for Iran after years of international sanctions. But that door is closing again.
What's next is the sanctions go in place. We're going to cut off the money.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary says licenses for Airbus and U.S.-based Boeing to sell planes in Iran will be revoked. Boeing planned to sell $20 billion worth of planes to Iran. If the company loses the deal, the U.S. aerospace industry will lose out.
The Trump administration is really shooting itself in the foot in some respects. You know, it's really claimed that its platform is to create jobs and grow the economy. This is 100,000 plus jobs that'll be lost.
For companies that took a chance on Iran, the fear of U.S. penalties and being shut out of the U.S. market is creating uncertainty.
It's not a fair level playing field that the U.S. says that we as Europeans are not allowed to make business with Iranian companies.
Montreal-based Bombardier could lose as well. It had reportedly been in talks with Iran. But the impact on Canada will likely be small. The sanctions may actually help Canada's oil sector if Iran's oil exports are limited and prices keep rising.
That may invariably, maybe help Canadian companies and, of course, the struggling oil sands market.
China, the biggest buyer of Iran's crude, opposes the U.S. move and seems very unlikely to also cut off Iran. Some European leaders are expected to try to seek exemptions from the sanctions. If President Trump denies them, it could put global cooperation at risk, sending a message to other countries, including some of Washington's closest allies, that America's priorities come first. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
The price of oil surged to a 3.5-year high in the wake of Washington's tough new stance on Iran. Crude finished the day at just over $71 US a barrel. That's up 3%. There are fears prices could spike as the sanctions on Tehran begin to bite. Although Saudi Arabia says it will work with other producers to lessen the impact of any shortfall in supplies.
Still ahead tonight on The National, day one on the campaign trail in Ontario, why this provincial race could be a preview of what's to come when the rest of Canada goes to the polls.
Plus, another story of a young Canadian making a profound change in her life. Why Fatima Ahmad chose to become one of the few to wear the niqab on tonight's national documentary.
And a racist rant caught on tape. A woman yelled at a group of men who came to Canada from Afghanistan, telling them to, quote, go home. We'll tell you what happened after the video went viral.
I'm Canadian, so I'm racist.
Okay, we're going to call the cops.
You guys need to go back to where you came
Okay, we're going to call the cops.
I mean, that's not right. You should get to know people before you judge them.
When we fly and when we buy, we expect rewards. Call them points or miles. Worldwide, consumers have racked up an estimated $8 trillion, enough to make 300 million trips around the world.
I think a recent Economist article suggested that maybe the second largest currency in the world after the US dollar is in fact loyalty points or miles.
Rob McLean used to run Canadian Airlines' frequent flyer program. Now he's head of points.com, where consumers can exchange their points in one program for another.
Now when you're shopping for gas at Esso, you may be able to convert those Esso extra points into Aeroplan miles.
Attractive for consumers with bulging banks of points. And according to Webflyer, which tracks points worldwide, they are being earned 4 times faster than they're being redeemed. Potential problem? Even if no more were awarded, it would take 23 years to use them up.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm afraid that if I don't use them, I'm going to lose them.
Not in Canada, according to Aeroplan.
You need exactly 25,000 points.
The country's largest frequent flyer program with 6 million members.
If I stopped the program today, it would take about 2 years for all of the points on average in people's accounts to be redeemed.
But the program won't stop, says Deschênes, because Aeroplan's partnerships with credit card companies and hotels make Air Canada hundreds of millions in revenues. But the looming prospect isn't lost.
If your liabilities of points are much bigger than your ability to redeem, then you're going to end up with a lot of unhappy customers.
And I know a lot of people that have trouble redeeming them because there's no seats available.
This business analyst says Air Canada tried to tighten up award levels and seats post-September 11th.
Tonight on The National, another test of Canada's new emergency alert system that could have gone smoother. After Monday's problematic tests in Quebec and Ontario, the system was supposed to send messages to mobile devices today in other provinces and territories. And while the test alert did reach lots of people today, there are certainly reports it didn't reach everybody in Western Canada the way it was supposed to. Officials have said they're working out the glitches.
There's still a lot of questions to be answered and obviously a lot of work to be done.
A long road ahead for the people of New Brunswick. After days of unprecedented flooding, residents are now slowly returning home, and clearly dealing with the aftermath will not be simple. Officials warned again today that anything that those floodwaters touched may be contaminated, and anyone involved in the cleanup, they're being advised to wear protective clothing. And in Halifax tonight, a 15-year-old girl is facing an attempted murder charge after a police officer was stabbed. Police say it happened yesterday as the officer responded to a report about a stolen truck. The girl and a 15-year-old boy had allegedly stolen that truck and gone on a joyride. But according to police, when an officer confronted her, he was stabbed. He's doing okay, stable condition in hospital, but both teens are facing a slew of charges.
Well, judgment has come swiftly and harshly after a video of an ugly altercation in a Lethbridge, Alberta restaurant went viral today. It shows a woman in a heated argument with a table of men from Afghanistan. As you'll see, it quickly spiraled out of control with language you might not appreciate at the dinner table.
Well, shut your mouth then. Because you know what? You're dealing with a Canadian woman right now.
Okay, we're going to call the cops right now.
You guys need to go back to where you
Okay, we're going to call the cops right now.
So this incident occurred more than 2 weeks ago, but was only just posted online last night. It has now been seen over 100,000 times and counting, with severe consequences for this woman. Aaron Collins has the story.
We
Don't
need
say
you
like
here.
respect, just,
You know
just
what?
respect.
Excuse me?
Just respect, don't say like that.
Relax.
We all
Excuse
Canadian.
me?
We all
Relax.
Canadian.
Excuse
Don't
me?
respect us
I
like
was
that.
born and raised here.
Doesn't matter.
I am
Relax too.
Canadian.
relax.
The video, shot on April 21st in a Lethbridge Denny's, provides a glimpse of what some newcomers may experience in Canada.
Call the
You know
cops
what?
right
You
now.
guys need to go back to where you
Okay,
came
we're going to
from.
call the cops.
A woman leans over a booth berating a group of Afghan men with a string of racist slurs. One of them filmed it on his phone.
How do you not lose your temper?
Just being patient. Patient is the key.
Being patient, not losing your temper, sounds pretty Canadian to me.
Yes, true.
Omarzai, a Canadian citizen who moved here as a teenager, says the encounter was unprovoked and un-Canadian.
Why would she say that to go back to my country? We're all immigrants here. I mean, this Canada has been, supportive of immigrants from all over the place.
Well, the 5-minute-long video ends with more taunts.
Perfect. Shut up. Speak English if you're going to speak.
The evening ended when police were called and Omarzai and his friends, as well as the woman, were asked to leave the restaurant. For her part, the woman in the video, a resident of Cranbrook, BC, told local Lethbridge News Now that she'd been drinking and was having an off day.
Yes, I made some comments shouldn't have been said. I even went back to Denny's and apologized to the manager, to the server. I told the manager if I could apologize to the men that were there, I would, for my actions, because, that's not who I am.
She also released a formal statement saying she regrets her comments, but insists there's more to the story. Well, back in Lethbridge, word of the video spread quickly. The mayor says his phone started to vibrate at 4 a.m.
Well, I was shocked. It's horrific to see that, and I could tell that was going to be a story. I think when I looked at it, it already had 700 shares or something like that, and I think it's important to respond.
For its part, Lethbridge police say they're now looking into the video, but stress that no charges were laid at the time of the incident. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Lethbridge.
Now, as you heard a moment ago, Kelly Pocha does say she's sorry, but while she admits her comments were racist, she also thinks the public reaction has been excessive. Here's some more of her conversation with Lethbridge News Now from earlier today.
I'm not that person. I'm a hardworking mother of 3. That's just not who I am. It was just an off day. Like I said, things were said to me. I got heated, made some comments. Fortunately, those comments I can't take back. People get into arguments every day. People say things every day. It doesn't get splattered on Facebook and go nationwide. It's just, I don't know. I don't agree with the whole thing. I think it's just gotten blown way out of proportion, especially when you're only seeing one side of the story. You're not seeing the whole thing. So it doesn't look very good on me.
Alberta's political leaders weighed in on all of this today as well. Here's part of what Premier Rachel Notley tweeted. Racist, bigoted comments have no place in Alberta. Everyone is welcome in Alberta. And United Conservative Party leader Jason Kenney said, the bigoted sentiments expressed in this video are appalling. Alberta is and always has been a welcoming home for hardworking newcomers from every corner of the world.
Okay, it's still to come tonight on The National. A company that's trying to prove even garbage can be recycled. But is it worth the cost?
And in tonight's national documentary, meet the young woman whose personal choice to wear the niqab has become very public and deeply political.
When the bill passed, I just felt like everyone was against me. So and I just felt like doors were closing upon me. So then you start asking yourself, can I endure this? Can this be something that I can go through every day?
Syria's terrifying tunnel of war. From war zones to natural disasters to humanitarian crises, a foreign correspondent's job is to put themselves in the thick of it and come back with the story.
They're lined up here because almost every single one of them is dependent on handouts.
But behind every successful deployment is a well-constructed plan. Decisions about where to sleep, where to get food, who to talk to, and how to get around are made in advance and sometimes on the spot. Nala Ayed is a veteran foreign correspondent for CBC News based in London. She's been a witness to some of the world's biggest stories, including the ongoing crisis for the Rohingya fleeing Myanmar.
So, Nala, we got some great questions from our viewers and obvious ones in some ways saying we see you in these places around the world where, people don't want to be themselves. Where do you go when we don't see you on camera? So let's start with, where do you sleep?
It's a really good question. And in the case of Bangladesh, actually, I didn't know where we would sleep when I was told where we were going exactly. So it's about doing a little bit of research, and in that case, learned very quickly that Cox's Bazar, which is not far from the border, is actually quite a large city, and that there were several hotels nearby, and we didn't have an issue finding a place. In fact, there were so many journalists. The biggest issue was just actually finding a room. But in other places, you do have to get a bit creative, and it's sometimes in the places where you least expect it. One was, for me, was in France, actually, a couple of years ago, with the very tragic crash of the Germanwings airplane, as you recall, in the Alps. It's a place I've never been. It's the Alps. You'd think there would be some hotels. It was a challenge to actually find a place, and at one point, there were local people who were coming around with their phone numbers, and offering places to stay up there. So a lot of us took advantage of that, and actually we created a bit of a live position in one of them. Other places, like, for example, Gaza, after one of the conflicts there, the border was opened on the Egyptian side. It was halfway through the night. Where do you stay when it's a place that unsafe and you don't want to be traveling around at night? Well, the local journalists we were working with suggested a home of just an ordinary family very close to the border, so that we sleep there and then move the next day to a hotel. In Haiti, we stayed also at a fixer's house. When we went to Jacmel to cover what the Canadians were doing, we stayed with Canadian troops.
Some of those sound like sort of reasonable accommodations. Have you ever had to do something that was just completely outside the frame?
Well, actually, the one that sticks in my mind always is Afghanistan, and it was actually Tora Bora while the bombing was going on across the valley where they thought that Osama bin Laden was. And in that case, there was nowhere to stay. So the locals offered a house a structure, I should say, that normally housed goats. So we just took our sleeping bags, and that's where we slept for 3 nights.
We hear this word fixer. And, in the business, we're so comfortable using this term that we don't stop to explain what we mean sometimes. So how valuable is a fixer, and what role do they play in the work that you do?
Well, the best way I like to describe it as a fixer is actually our secret weapon, because when you go to a place like Bangladesh, which I have to say that this was my very first trip there, I know nothing about Bangladesh that I haven't just read in a newspaper or in a book. And so a fixer is someone who is from that country and knows the country intimately, speaks the language, knows how to get around, and if they don't know, then they know how to access the information to find out where you need to go, where to buy things, where to sleep, what to do, who to talk to. And so usually there's a whole network of fixers that we all trust, that we ask other journalists about. For example, the one we worked with in Bangladesh is someone that is known to some other Canadian media.
Better.
Here on The National, we're profiling some young Canadians as they go through major life changes. It's a chance to see those experiences and try to understand the issues they are grappling with. Fatima Ahmad is a Montrealer who wants to become a teacher. She's also a Muslim who chose last year to wear the niqab, a personal decision, but In Quebec, it is also inescapably political. Ahmad was one of 2 women who testified in court as a bill to regulate face coverings was being debated. So that's the backdrop. Now here's the reality for Fatima Ahmad. In our national documentary, she tells us why she made her decision and how it's changed her.
Just because somebody can't see me, I'm not invisible. Just because you can't see somebody doesn't mean they don't exist, doesn't mean they don't have feelings, doesn't mean you can connect with them. They're still very human like you. Before I go outside, the prayer I usually say is Bismillahi tawakkaltu ala Allahi, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. In the name of God, I put my trust in Him, and there is no power except through Him. My name is Fatima Ahmed. I am 21 years old. I've started wearing the niqab 1.5 years ago. I was born and raised in Montreal, Canada. My mother country is in Bangladesh. I'm currently studying at McGill in elementary education. So in the future, I want to be a teacher. There's the notion that if you cover up, you're oppressed. Okay, let's go together. And the more skin you show, the more free you are. And for me, that statement is quite absurd because I choose what I will show to the world, not vice versa. Come with us. My religion teaches me that it's about your character, it's about your deeds. It's not about how you look.
This is Radio Noon, and we're talking about Bill 62. We'll head back.
You know, it's like a cancer that's invading this country, and I applaud Quebec.
The law is that you need to have your face uncovered, and everybody simply should abide by it.
I salute Quebec for this, and I hope that this bill goes all over Canada.
Il nous parle de religion dans l'espace public, il nous parle de religion partout. Il nous impose des habitudes de vie, il y a quelque chose, un problème qui... il devrait s'adapter. Or, c'est eux qui demandent que le Québec, la société d'accueil, s'adapte à leurs us et coutumes.
Be careful! I'm not trying to impose myself on anyone. I wear the niqab as a personal commitment towards God. So this is very personal. This is not some kind of political thing. I'm just practicing my right as a Canadian. When the bill passed, I just felt like not everyone was against me. So and I just felt like doors were closing upon me. So then you start asking yourself, can I endure this? Can this be something that I can go through every day? It was extremely difficult time, and for me to go outside, it took a lot of courage.
Like one of my pastors said something a couple months ago, and it just stuck with me. But he said, like, from a distance, it's really easy to demonize or idolize someone, but like up close, we can humanize people.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
since I started wearing the niqab, I know that my mindset and my worldviews have progressed. Like, I grew as a person. So I don't know, for me, I think since there is this very bad image of who Muslims are, what Islam is about, I think as Muslim we have to create a positive narrative.
Assalamualaikum, sister. Questions?
As a teacher, I don't want to just be like, teaching science and math, but also like connect with students and go beyond. And I want them to be good human beings before anything.
Good job.
I want my students to become caring individuals who will, even though they have differences with other people, they will learn how to respect each other. Bye, no problem. At the end of the day, we'll always have differences, but to live in a peaceful society, to coexist with other people, you have to respect them.
We are Canadians, we are Quebecers, and we need to get engaged. Get to know your neighbors. Reach that trust, build that trust with your neighbors, because that's the only way we will get stronger. Despite our differences, despite our diversity, we are stronger together, and that's the message.
I think we are maybe in that path that people will, as time passes, they will be more understanding, and I think at first people are always, with anything, they're always like, afraid, reluctant, and they don't want to know, they don't want to understand. But as time passes and they kind of get to know these people, then they're less afraid and less negative towards it. I think the niqab has helped me in many ways to put things into perspective. It's a transformation that goes within, that you're trying to take a step forward towards your faith. So I'm coming to a point where I'm realizing that the niqab is going to be part of my journey. It's going to be part of my success story. It's going to be part of me. Yeah, I'm just like you guys, but different. Different journey.
Starting July 1st, it will be against the law in Quebec to cover your face while receiving public services or providing them. Requests for accommodation on religious grounds will be considered case by case. It turns out only a few Muslim women in Quebec actually wear the niqab or burqa. There's no official count, but informed estimates range from 50 to 300. On Monday, we told you about another young Canadian. Stefan Alexis is a college graduate in Ottawa who has put his future on hold so he can care for his younger brother, Tor, who has cerebral palsy. It was a touching, intimate portrait that has garnered a lot of reaction. You can see for yourself why it's made such an impact on viewers. Caring for Tor is available on our YouTube channel and on our national Facebook page, or you can go to Instagram to see images from our stories. And you can share your thoughts on any of these platforms.
And still to come on The National, car seats, chip bags, cigarette butts, and latex gloves. All things you cannot typically throw into a blue bin. But one company says that doesn't have to be the case, and they're aiming to recycle the unrecyclable.
There's a recycling solution for everything, but the reason why it's not recycled municipally is because it's more complex and costly to do so. From our perspective, we would like everything to be recycled. We'd like to collect as much as we can.
We can sell our services to the world in a far easier fashion than we've ever been able to before.
Deborah Black has her own communications firm in Saskatoon. People anywhere in the world can find out about her products and services. Her firm has been on the internet since last fall. Because the technology is so new, it hasn't yet been a big moneymaker.
Well, so far the benefits are marginal at this stage, but it does place us in a very advantageous position in terms of the opportunity that presents for the future.
Every day, more private companies are getting their products on the internet.
And there's a graphic here that will have our logo and the name of Cotto Books at the top.
This Regina book publishing firm is getting on the internet this week. Reg Sylvester sees the internet as a combination of a mail-order catalog and the home shopping network.
We have a special grouping of books that we've done that were written by women. We call it the Women's Work Collection, so we can click on Women's Work and see the list of books.
Cotto Books hopes being on the internet will mean new customers around the world, especially in the U.S.
If you'd really like to order it, then you can click on ordering information and you'll find our 1-800 number there. Or you can order by fax if you'd like, or by mail.
Sylvester has already discovered unexpected benefits of being on the internet.
I think that you'll find that the internet is a place where book publishers can sell international rights or American rights to other publishers in those countries. Places where publishers of multimedia projects will be able to find partners and that sort of thing. I think there's going to be a lot of business to business contacts as well that will be useful.
To set up an internet site, the firm spent about $3,000 for a new computer and $2,000 for a one-year hookup charge, for a total of $5,000.
I've been doing a bit of research. Some people are finding a lot of traffic on their internet site, and one publisher that I talked to said that they've sold somewhere between 0 and 1 books. So, you know, it's kind of risky. It's a little bit frightening.
Sylvester urges business people in Saskatchewan to become internet literate.
I think it's worth the effort to at least, for people in business, to at least know about the internet and to begin to understand the ways that they can use it. It's not just another advertising medium. It's a communication medium, and it helps you familiarize people with what your product is and how they can get it and how they can use it.
Matthew,
Hi.
meeting with Innovation Place yesterday.
Good. There.
Deborah Black says knowing the internet will be essential for business.
It is going to be the source of everything that we do. It is going to be how we order our pizza. It will be how we make our telephone calls. It will be how we do business generally.
She says the internet could benefit Saskatchewan more than other places.
It really doesn't matter where in the world you exist. So previously, for Saskatchewan, there was a real disadvantage in our physical placement in the world. Now that is no longer an issue.
Ontario's election is officially underway, and it's expected to be a particularly nasty race between the Liberal incumbent, Kathleen Wynne, the PC leader, Doug Ford, and the NDP's Andrea Horwath.
You know, I'm going to push against and fight against Mr. Ford's agenda wherever I am in the province.
Kathleen Wynne and Andrea Horwath, they're the same people. You know what I mean? They just want to spend and tax.
Mr. Ford, for some reason, does not have the guts to be upfront about what his plans are.
And this is just day one. Voters in Ontario have another 27 days to make their choice. But as the CBC's Hannah Thibodeau tells us, all Canadians have reason to keep an eye on this one.
It's dusk on Parliament Hill. The day's business is done, and political operatives have retreated to their offices. You can bet, though, they're watching the impending battle to control this government building 450 kilometers away. The Ontario election will be key in framing the federal fight next year.
I think every election becomes informative for the one to come.
Kathleen Wynne and Justin Trudeau are using similar tactics. Demonize the opponent.
Doug Ford sounds like Donald Trump, and that's because he is like Donald Trump.
It may be Andrew Scheer's smile, but it's still Stephen Harper's party.
Both leaders are playing on fears and insecurities, both stealing some of the NDP's signature ideas, including enhanced pharmacare. Kathleen Wynne's campaign co-chair says it would be better for the federal Liberals if they have a government with similar policy perspectives in Ontario.
My sense is the federal government is trying to carve a bit of the same territory that Kathleen Wynne has been leading on, which is moving towards, an activist center, a progressive middle.
Conservatives Doug Ford and Andrew Scheer are also using similar messaging.
I'm going to make sure we run a government that respects the taxpayers.
It's why we want lower taxes.
And both say the carbon tax is a no-go.
I think the members of Andrew Scheer's campaign are going to watch closely. And every day that Doug Ford has a good day, that one of his messages work, they're going to consider that a successful trial run for something they might want to do in 2019.
Same goes for New Democrats Andrea Horwath and Jagmeet Singh, who used to be her deputy leader in Ontario.
We can actually have change for the better in our province.
And hope for a better Canada.
Our most successful time federally was under Jack Layton. And Jack was irrepressibly positive. That's the message that I think Andrea is trying to present.
And the coordination continues behind the scenes. Doug Ford's campaign includes many people from Stephen Harper's old team. On the Liberal side, many of Trudeau's key team came from the provincial legislature and are still in touch. And you can expect to see federal politicians of all stripes helping out.
You know, these are people who have helped me in the past in my campaign, and I'm going to help our candidate in Barrie Innisfil as well.
I love door knocking, so I'll spend a lot of time when I'm not doing parliamentary work.
It's to our advantage if we want our program to succeed, in particular on things like housing and transit, that we have someone at Queen's Park that actually understands those two issues.
There's also a lot at stake for the federal government. If the PCs win, Trudeau would lose his closest provincial ally, and along with it, support for some of his signature policies, like the carbon tax and safe injection sites. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
And don't forget, CBC News is tracking the polls leading up to June's election. Right now, our models show that Doug Ford's PCs remain out in front with 41% support. The NDP and Liberals trail well behind. The NDP with a slight edge at 26.5% and the Liberals at 26.1%. You can look at all of our poll tracker data on our website. Just go to cbc.ca/poll tracker.
Well, changing gears slightly, Oreo packages, used coffee pods, and spray bottle tops. They're hard to recycle and normally not allowed in your blue bin. Well, tonight, as part of an ongoing CBC News series, Reduce, Reuse, Rethink, Christine Birak brings us the story of one company trying to prove you can recycle everything. The only question, at what cost?
Want to try that one again? It's quick and so easy to hold. Isla can pretty much feed herself. But squeeze pouches aren't all good news. Even if she liked mango chicken, those pouches are creating tons of garbage. To ease her guilt, Isla's mom collects and ships them to a special recycling program.
You can recycle both the pack and the lid through TerraCycle.
So you send it just like this?
Yep. Just put them in a box and send them, and because they're mixed material, they can't go in the blue bin.
Cities are not collecting a growing list of mixed plastic products, ranging from cereal bags and shiny food wrappers to cigarette butts, which contain a thin layer of plastic in their filter. They're simply too expensive to recycle. Businesses like TerraCycle act as a go-between, approaching companies making hard-to-recycle products and asking them to pay the cost. In return, consumers can send the company's products off to a private recycling plant for free, and they feel good about it.
We also have a free program for these Schneider's Lunchmate lunch kits.
But it's a tricky business. The more products Canadians send back for specialized recycling, the higher the cost to the company. Some product makers then pull the plug on the program, saying it's just too expensive.
From our perspective, we would like everything to be recycled. You know, we'd like to collect as much as we can, but the reality of it is that there's a cost to it.
Some argue programs like TerraCycle leave people thinking everything is recyclable, when in reality, it's not cost-effective for cities or companies to actually do it.
So packaging producers are trying to have their cake and eat it too, meaning they're generating materials that are saving them on logistics, transportation, storage, and then they're communicating to households that this material is recyclable, when in reality, if we look at their recycling rates, it's less than 5%.
Experts say what we really need to do is reduce the amount of stuff we're picking up or buying and reuse what we have, which is why this teacher decided not to recycle.
So I feel like I was encouraging them to buy more of these. So instead, we've been campaigning for apples versus the little apple sauce pockets.
Sounds simple enough, but wasteful habits are hard to break. Some provinces are now putting it back on product makers, making them responsible for the public cost of disposal or recycling of their own products, hoping the bottom line will force better decision-making on what they offer people and our planet. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
And so, picking up on Christine's last point, right now there are 5 provinces in Canada that are more aggressive towards companies that make hard-to-recycle products. And they do it by making them pay for some of that recycling cost. So, in British Columbia, it's actually the whole cost. Businesses fully finance and even operate the Recycle BC program. Similar deal in Quebec. Businesses also pay 100% of the costs, but they don't run the system itself. And in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, businesses pay a portion of municipal recycling costs. But in the rest of provinces, the cost of recycling programs typically falls to taxpayers.
Still ahead on The National, the latest from Hawaii, where people are bracing for more potentially explosive volcanic activity. Several dozen homes have already been destroyed, but that was just from the slow-moving lava. Now there are fears that steam-driven explosions could send ash and rock into the air. Our science reporter, Johanna Wagstaff, will have the details.
But first, your royal save the date. Just 10 days from now, wedding bells will ring for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Today, the Royal Canadian Mint sent them good wishes on behalf of everyone in this country in the form of a silver coin.
3, 2, 1, unveil!
The $20 commemorative piece was unveiled in Toronto. This city has strong connections to the couple. Harry opened the Invictus Games here, and his actor fiancé called Toronto home while shooting the series Suits.
Fun fact, she and I were in the same yoga class once. It left a lasting impression on me.
Joking aside, it was the couple's commitment to mental health issues that decided today's location, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. Harry visited the center in 2017, spending time with staff and patients, just as his mother, Princess Diana, had done in 1991. And so, in Harry's honor, the Mint has donated $25,000 to the CAMH Foundation, just one acknowledgement today of their imminent marriage.
You know, everybody loves her and everybody's interested to see how our figure will look.
The bride's likeness in wax made its debut today at Madame Tussauds in London. And, of course, Lego showed off its depiction of the royal wedding, made from 39,000 pieces, in case you were curious, a smaller-than-life tribute to a larger-than-life event. And so with all those wedding preps underway, we are getting ready too. CBC News will bring you special coverage of the royal wedding on television, on radio, and online all next week. We'll bring you the national from London and Windsor and dig into questions about the couple, the monarchy, and what this union represents. And then join me bright and early next Saturday for live coverage of the big event. We will give you a front row seat to the wedding of the year beginning at, get ready, 4 a.m. Eastern on CBC Television, CBC News Network, and cbcnews.ca. Hope you'll join us.
There has been a lot of books and reading materials which are being left for the urban waste. People were leaving them just aside the garbage bins. The first people who noticed that there was such a potential of reusing, reorganizing such kind of material, this idea came from our waste collection workers. We started collecting them and then the classification and this library idea emerged, and we are very happy with the results. Approximately we have 5,000 books, including the other reading materials such as magazines and periodicals as well, which has been collected in the last 6 months or so, and the numbers are increasing each day. All our workers, plus their families, in some cases, are being trained and educated. We have a space here which is limited. The rest of the books, we are going to classify them and to form other libraries within the city or eastern part of Turkey. We are going to reorganize or refurbish a garbage truck, which is going to be converted into a library, which will be a mobile one. And also at the same time, we are planning to collect the donations with this truck as well. As far as I know, this library is one of a kind in the world. And of course, our orchestra is also one of a kind. All those people who are performing are regular workers. They are using ordinary city waste collection equipment. Of course, they make some modifications to them as well to get the higher and the lower tones as well. We are using some other instruments as well, such as our national instrument, which we call it saz. It's a string instrument, but even this string instrument was found at the garbage, and they have modified it. And if we consider the real job that they are performing, which means collecting the municipal waste for 1 million population, it's a big number. And our garbage collection per night is approximately 1,350 tons. And at the same time, they have the ability to come up with new ideas each day. I'm very happy with them.
Well, tonight on The National, a dramatic scene in the heart of Rome. That's a public bus exploding on a busy street. The cause is believed to be some sort of a mechanical and maintenance issue, and apparently it's kind of a common problem among the city's aging fleet. So far this year, 10 buses have gone up in flames. The local transport company is being accused of failing to properly take care of its fleet. This is in Poland today, a big gooey mess on a major highway. That is 12 tons of liquid chocolate spilled all over the road after a tractor trailer overturned. It brought traffic to a standstill for hours, and imagine what it must have been like to clean that up. Authorities say it hardened as it cooled, and crews either had to use lots of hot water to melt it away or heavy machinery to scoop it up.
The ground is shaking, rumbling. The flames coming out are like a blowtorch.
And an incredible up-close look this morning at one of the vents spewing lava on Hawaii's Big Island. And just a couple hours after that video was taken, there was a big explosion at the Kilauea volcano, sending a plume of ash into the sky and creating a whole new reason to be worried. Now let's bring in CBC meteorologist and science reporter Johanna Wagstaff, who's been tracking today's developments. And Jo, can you start by explaining what about this is so different from everything else we've seen this past week?
Well, Andrew, the main threat so far has been mainly from this slow bubbling of lava and gases in fissures that have opened up away from the main crater. But as the magma is feeding these new vents, it's drawing magma away from the main caldera or lava lake. And that's what's leading to an increased concern of more explosive types of events over the next couple of weeks. So as that lava lake drops closer to the groundwater table, rocks are continuing to fall into that lava lake. And the concern is we could get a buildup of pressure once those rocks and lava interact with groundwater. That could lead to a steam-driven explosion or several of these types of explosions. Now, it's hard to say when exactly this will happen or how large these events will be, but not just gas, ash, lava, and large boulders being thrown over a kilometer away from the crater will be a big concern. Scientists, though, Andrew, are monitoring this situation 24/7 for any changes in that lake level.
Wow, okay. Johanna Wagstaff, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
A wave of red and white made its way to Parliament Hill today, part of celebrations in the capital honoring Canadian Olympic and Paralympic athletes. We asked what this recognition meant to them, and that is our moment of the day.
Today has been absolutely unbelievable. Getting to, get the band back together.
Today was an amazing day of celebration, of excellence, of sport. It started at the Rideau Hall and then at the House of Commons.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let's get on the floor where everybody got up and we got to sing Oh Canada. And getting to receive, our Olympic rings, that's one part that every athlete looks forward to.
Chance of a lifetime here. Very, very excited about the support the Canadian government has given to the athletes over the years.
We are the athletes, but everybody plays a part. It takes a village.
Okay, let's not forget, what a record breaker these Olympics and Paralympics were. Largest ever delegation for the Olympics. I think record-breaking medal haul, 29, 28 in the Paralympics. So a whole lot of reasons to celebrate there.
Oh, and you talk about the competition, Adrian. I'm amazed these athletes don't have whiplash from being thrust into the spotlight of international competition.
They love it.
And then kind of disappearing and then back, at the House of Commons. It's great.
Kind of nice that they have that moment in the sun. Nice chance, as you heard, for the athletes to get together because they are involved in all kinds of different events around the world, so they don't often get a chance to do that. But I bet you a lot of them are thinking tomorrow means training 45 months until the next Winter Games. So
right back at it, huh?
Boy, oh boy, just a moment in the spotlight and then back to all that grueling working out that I can't even imagine what that's like.
There's still time for you.
Oh, yeah. Sure, I'm sure there's nothing I could do. That is the National, other than say this, for May 9th. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.